Welcome to SJU. Good morning. It's Friday. And I'm very
It is Friday. It's not Rebecca Black's Friday.
It's not Rebecca Black's Friday. It's our Friday, and it's a 3-day weekend. I'm very, very excited, and I have a new co-host to introduce. It's this beautiful, delightful, wonderful, plushy. Look at it.
That's pretty cute.
Disney
Dan?
has done its job well.
Yeah,
It's Forced Friday.
I will note that Billy Business has left the room in protest of your porg, I think.
Yeah, he's not even here.
Yeah.
He's not
He's
here.
like, I'm leaving this.
Billy Business left the room. We have no Billy here today, so it's going to be
Porg business?
Day here on SJU. I've got Joe Starr.
Hi.
Hello. Spencer Gilbert.
What did you name your pork?
His name is beautiful, handsome, lovely man.
Aw, that's a good name.
Dan Merle.
Hi.
It's not very Star Wars of you.
I told these guys that literally every
It's
single
spelled
one
weird,
of my
though.
maternal instincts is activated and directed at this pork right now. Like, it's a lot for him to take in.
He's going to hate you on standardized tests with that name.
Yeah.
It's a lot of bubbles to fill out.
It is.
Yeah.
So many bubbles.
And it's very easy to make fun of. What would you guys name my pork?
Hashtag name that porg.
Name that porg. Leave it in comments below, or you can tweet it at us. We actually do have some real things to talk about today, including new updates on the Joker.
Oh my God.
But we're also going to talk a tale of tears of the clowns, and we're going to do a little
I hope that's
September
something to do with
preview.
it, or are we just talking about crying clowns?
You'll find out,
Okay.
won't you? It could go either way.
never know.
I'm the one doing the story, so you don't know. So Jared Leto is not too happy. That's actually not the lead of the story, but it's interesting. Oh.
He's always frowning. You can't throw that at us.
He's not too happy, but this is why, actually. They are Warner Brothers, via Hollywood Reporter. Warner Brothers is basically trying to reportedly court Leonardo DiCaprio for the spin-off Joker movie that Martin Scorsese is producing. Now, the idea is that they basically, his deal isn't done. Scorsese's not officially producing this movie yet, but that they're trying to get Scorsese to then, in turn, try and get DiCaprio to do the film. Chances are...
Yeah, no
Not gonna happen.
SHIT. They're using Scorsese to try to get DiCaprio.
Right.
Duh.
Yeah, right. Well, okay, so why? Because they have a long working relationship.
Because they do everything together.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have done a
They're
number of
pals.
films. The Aviator, this is his most frequent collaborator. The Aviator, Gangs of New York, The Departed, Shutter Island, and The Wolf of Wall Street. DiCaprio is a very, very coveted actor, and he's never really done he's never done a franchise film. He's chosen to do original stories with high, why can't I think of words today? And there's so much happening in the background that you guys don't know
We
about.
have no monitor, so we don't know which camera we're looking at.
I hope we look
beeps
okay.
and boops and bops. And
I almost
everything.
Christian
What the hell's
Bale.
going on.
JT's having a fun Friday.
It's very difficult to concentrate right now. It's the end of the week. We're all. I've noticed that Roth. I've seen the difference between us. Like see the finish line of this 3-day weekend, and you're like speeding up to get to it, and I'm like
We're limping to
out
it.
of gas and like trying desperately to get to the finish line.
But we're doing it, you
But
guys.
it's going to be like cars. Like, she's going to, like, slow down and help you, and you're going to win together.
Yeah.
You ruined the ending of Cars.
Spoiler alerts for Cars.
I think
Ka-chow!
I think Pixar ruined the ending of Cars.
Oh, spicy. Ooh, look out.
Pixar burn.
Yeah.
All right, so they're trying to court
Leo.
DiCaprio.
Funny
Trying to
Leo,
court
the
DiCaprio.
hilarious Leonardo
Yes.
DiCaprio. Hey, there we
We're
are.
back up and running. We know what we're doing, sort of.
Yeah. This feels like fake news because it feels like 100 steps too early to report on. Just like he hasn't even signed on as producer yet. He knows Leonardo DiCaprio. They want him to maybe ask Leonardo DiCaprio if he's interested in doing the movie. Is the story here?
Yeah.
Well, I think that the story. This is. I kind of think this. Todd Phillips, who did War Dogs, as we know, in The Hangover, is writing the movie. He's
Forgot about that.
and
That's
possibly
funny.
directing the movie as well. So that would be a weird choice of director for DiCaprio. You know what I mean? Because the word that I was trying to think of before was he works with very, very well-known, respected, prestige directors, typically speaking. So I would think that they would want to sweeten the pot there a little bit, but I don't even think that they care if they get DiCaprio. this is my guess, that Warner Brothers has different factions working that have different sort of motivations and things that they want out of the DC universe.
A Game of Thrones, if you will.
A Game of Thrones, if you will. And they have different mouthpieces in the press, and each of them are releasing information to those different this is all theory. Different mouthpieces to try and get a story out there. And the story that they want out there is whether they get DiCaprio or not, they're going to want A-list talent for these sort of standalone DC movies, that they're going for a different kind of film for these standalone DC movies. I do like this quote from the Hollywood Reporter, quote, "The attempt in itself sends a signal to the talent that Warner's wants to hire serious filmmakers to make serious films about the Joker."
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's admirable. What's the backup plan if Leo passes? I know we talked about
who's stepped down
Yeah,
Leo.
Literally anyone else.
Yeah.
Like I'm with Spencer. This seems like fake news to me. It seems like Warner Brothers can't sneeze without balling the Hollywood what's happening. So they have like the leakiest in the world. I agree. Someone's competing over there because every move they make is completely leaked to the press. And then secondly, like the Hollywood Reporter, it just seems like this isn't. The story essentially boils down to Martin Scorsese, who is not yet officially signed to produce this project, may or may not attempt to woo Leonardo, who the article admits is almost not going to do the movie in any way, shape, or form, and that the studio wants a big actor to star in their big movie.
Shocking.
Wow. Oh my
This is
God. Why did
Jared Leto isn't happy. News at 11.
Jared Leto isn't happy that somebody else might take his part.
Because the truth is, sometimes leaks make things happen. They're testing the
Gave us
audience.
Deadpool,
they're it's like a focus group basically. It's a free information, and sometimes these things do make things happen. Yeah, Deadpool, exactly. So to me, it's like, if they can get Scorsese on board to not only produce, but I don't think this is going to happen either. But what if he did direct this thing just because he was like, I'm old? Why not? I've done everything. I'm amazing. Oh,
I don't think that's what follows I'm old. It's old why.
no,
not I'm
because
old,
it's
why
like,
not?
he is a filmmaker that he's the interesting thing to me about Scorsese is that he actually does have a variety of tones.
True.
He has a body of work versus most ilk, if you will, are kind of like, they have a signature, right? You know that that's a Spielberg film when you see it to some degree.
Sure, yeah, he's done like Hugo, he's done comedy, Kings of Comedy and whatever,
Yeah.
but this movie is supposed to be like my first Scorsese, like Scorsese light, because it's all about, it's going to be like Raging Bull, it's going to be like a Taxi Driver, like they're going for a Scorsese tone. I don't think he's going to want to sign up to do an imitation of himself.
I don't think he would want to do an imitation of himself, but he has never done, I mean, the challenge of doing a comic book movie in a way that has not been done might be interesting for him. And if he signed up, that is the only possible way to get Leo.
Probably.
Yeah.
If it is Leo, I want him to reach down to Harley Quinn and say, "Want to go to a real party?" And then they dance with some Irish people. That's all my Joker. I want a lot of different things from my Joker movie, mostly just dancing with period piece Irish characters.
And this pork.
And that pork.
The other thing is that, so Jared Leto has now heard about these multiple Jokers.
Reportedly, according to sources and insiders.
In the Hollywood, well, he's heard of it because it was in the news.
Right.
And so apparently he upset agents, CAA, and a rival, speaking of Game of Thrones, rival agency WME is now trying to court him because he's pissed at CAA.
Snap.
I wonder who called the press and said that there's a divide and that WME might have a shot at getting Jared Leto. I wonder who would be motivated to plant a story that Jared Leto wasn't happy with his current representation and would be looking at another specifically named firm. Who would be motivated to call the Hollywood Reporter and say a story like
I
that?
don't know. I've got 30 seconds to mull this one over. Maybe I'll go to Mars in that time and find a member of that band to.
So basically what has happened is a bunch of middle school girls got together. They had a sleepover. They finished playing Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board, and they played Truth or Dare, and one of the girls was like, "Do you know who I like? Leonardo DiCaprio." And another one of the girls was like, "I thought you liked Jared Leto." And she was like, "I like Leo a little more." And then one of the other girls, who's just a bitch, was like, hey, Carol, guess who she likes? And now here we are.
There you go. That's Hollywood, baby.
This has been the news from Screen
But like
Junkies
Hollywood
News.
Reporter, because like they were the one we ran with the story with Ben Affleck and Batman on they broke the Hollywood
Which
Reporter
one?
broke at Comic-Con, the first one that said he was out before he was in.
Oh,
Before he
they're
was out,
still
before
saying
he was
he's
in
out
again.
in this article.
Hey,
They're
but
It's
still
like
saying
Hollywood
he's out.
Reporter is like one of those outlets that's like not supposed to be TMZ or like Scoops McGee level journalism, and they're stop it. It's like they're just reporting rumor and hearsay like every other shitty gossip site. It's like just you're an actual journalism. You print on paper still, I think. Confirm something.
newspaper.
Bring me some actual news that we can report. Because this, I'm sorry, this is a non-story.
Hey, Carol.
This is a story that's based on hearsay and rumors from unnamed sources and insiders. It's not journalism. It's what someone with an agenda called them up to. They're being manipulated.
You want Dan on that wall. You need Dan on that wall.
And we are now using their non-story and to have people click and watch us report on their non-story. It's just a big waste of
Human
time.
centipede.
It's a big waste
is
of
kind of
time.
human
is
Thank
what
you
it
for
is.
joining us for this human waste of time and porg adoration today.
The bigger news is that you got a porg. I can source that. I've got proof. I have evidence that you got a porg.
We
It's sitting
investigated.
there. I can go talk to the person that purchased the porg.
Max Steon actually
I
purchased
can bring
the
Max
porg.
in. He can give me the first-hand story about buying the porg.
He did it with Jenny Nicholson.
There
There's
you
a
go.
video coming to you soon. Well, I was going to ask us who
Guess who
Jonah
dumped
Hill would
Batman?
inevitably pay in this DiCaprio featured Joker movie, but instead, let
Oh,
us
Jonah
know.
Hill plays Harley Quinn. That's
Oh, I like that.
Ooh, like that.
I like that a lot.
Good call. Instead, let's talk about clowns. They're angry.
more clowns.
Yeah, there's some information about clowns that I'd like to share with you guys. So, clowns are legitimately pissed off about it ruining clown bookings. Here's a quote.
Good thing they're incapable of human emotion.
So, this is a quote from the World Clown Association president, Pam Moody, who performs as Sparky the firefighter clown to teach grade schoolers about fire safety. And this is in
God.
Dan's favorite outlet, The Hollywood Reporter. Quote, it all started with the original It. That introduced the concept of this character. It's a science fiction character. It is not a clown. It has nothing to do with pro clowning. Now, there is a statement from the World Clowning Association. We stand with scary clowns. The
We
WCA
stand on scary
clowns.
clowns.
They do not stand with scary clowns. I'm going to ask you guys to refer to your documents.
Okay.
And we are going to read this statement so that the world and the internet and the 5 people that are continuing to watch this will be very clear on their stand on clowns. I will begin.
We just do the bullet points.
We at the no, you're gonna want to read this.
Okay.
We at the World Clown Association are proponents of positive, family-friendly entertainment. We believe the art of clown is something to be treasured and enjoyed by audiences worldwide. We bring happy, joyful, creative, caring, positive, fun experience for audiences. Dan, pick it up.
We understand that some people enjoy the horror genre, that's in quotes, of entertainment, but we find that many people are confronted by images of horror characters impersonating clowns and are startled by them, which is obviously the goal of these horror characters. In my opinion, these horror characters are not clowns.
Yeah, they are.
Even the character in the movie It should be understood to be a fantasy character, not a true clown.
Joe.
Just as a house event may have a wearing surgical gear, a chainsaw, people need to understand this character is a real doctor. He is a person portraying an evil
I
character.
was trying to get medical treatment at a haunted house. It explains so much.
Connell has- he is a person portraying an evil character in order to scare people. In the same way, people dressed as horror clowns are not real clowns. They are taking something innocent and wholesome and perverting it to create fear in their audience.
Spencer.
So please understand, just because someone wears a rubber Halloween mask, that does not make one a clown. The horror movie character Jason wears a hockey goalie mask, but people would be mistaken if they thought he was a hockey player. He could probably play goalie. We disavow any relationship with these, quote, horror characters.
Jason didn't even learn to swim. He certainly doesn't know how to play hockey. We stand with our safety officers and call for an end to the traumatization of individuals and communities by horror characters in the public.
Safety officers.
Anyone making
They
a
have clown
threat
cubs?
of violence should be arrested. This one's the most
His name is
confusing
Cuffs.
paragraph. Whether this is in person wearing a mask or not, this is clearly not the act of a professional clown. Dan, bring it home.
The World Clown Association shares laugh and comic relief everywhere for the positive, wholesome enjoyment of their audiences. It is true that various horror clown portrayals work against our goal. We hope our audience realizes that there are different categories in entertainment. We stay on the positive side of things, providing fun, G-rated, child-friendly entertainment. We also recommend that young children not be exposed to horror movies, which are intended for mature audiences.
This is terrible.
Clowns on clowns. Clowns on clowns. So here's
Slow
Just
clown clap.
dumb PR, because all they do is remind you in paragraph after paragraph of how scary clowns can be and how many horrific clowns there are in the world.
Well,
We're
Steve-
not the horror clowns. Horror clowns are bad. Horror, 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 horror.
Yeah, well, Stephen King actually responded, the creator of It and creator of Pennywise, who is I think the most iconic scary clown in my mind. The clowns are pissed at me. Sorry, most are great. But kids have always been scared of clowns. Don't kill the messenger or the message. The interesting thing is that these people, they are saying they are legitimately losing business, that people are canceling events because now Pennywise is so big again and the idea that clowns are so scary. So is there anything to that? I mean, that statement is amazing and we needed you to hear it. But is there anything to this concern? I mean, there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing they can do. They got to own it.
Yeah.
They got to be like, we're scary now.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
roll
you gotta
into that
adapt.
way.
When you have like an
Roll
adult
with the
birthday party,
marketplace.
like hire a clown to scare the shit out of all of you. Won't tell you when we're coming, but we're gonna stand up. We can even stand outside the window and just watch.
Oh God.
Don't tell anyone you
That's
hired
the
us.
free market, man.
Yeah.
Like your
decided
product
you're
is friend-
scary.
Yeah.
It's not the kids who are canceling the clowns, it's the parents who are canceling the clowns, and it's because the people with kids are people of my ilk, of my generation now, that grew up with It and Pee-wee's Big Adventure and everything else, and it's like, sorry, that's life.
So you think it's not even the kids that are scared of the clowns?
No,
It's the
it's
adults.
the adults that are scared of the clowns. I mean, there are a certain percentage of kids that are scared by clowns. They are creepy. I'm sorry, they are. There's just you can
The
put out
worst.
as many press statements as you want. There's going to be
Yeah.
a certain amount of children that find clowns incredibly discomforting and creepy. That's not a personal judgment on you. That's just when you paint your face white and you have a big red nose and you walk up to it and go like,
Smell of liquor on your
"Hey!"
breath.
There's going to be kids that are a little disquieted by that, but it's adults that are scared of clowns.
Yeah.
So it's if you're a great clown, this is going to separate the great clowns from the
that's it, exactly.
from the pretenders, because if you're a great clown and you put on a good show,
Very good
Yeah.
point.
then it doesn't matter if you're scary because you're
Yeah.
just
The clown
that good.
culling is long overdue. Not anyone can just throw on a big nose and call themselves a
the
clown.
pretender clowns.
You clowned yourselves.
Or they could rebrand and
That
like
was a clown laugh.
they should call themselves something else to get away from the clown stigma. Just be like yuck yucks.
Yeah, no, that's horrible. That's even worse.
That's racist sounding. That's racist to clowns.
But to Dan's point, like these kids shouldn't even really be aware of these properties at all.
They
shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I'm not hiring any yuck yucks.
And just as a tease,
That's
I
very
did
well.
talk with some clowns about scary movie clowns, and that'll be coming out this weekend.
Oh, nice.
There were clowns in this very room that might still be in here.
Okay, good.
They're not. They're
That's
in the
how
movie
you could
fight
really
studio
mess
hiding.
me up. I really do not. But I have my Porg. He'll protect me. Although it's my job to protect him. Fair enough.
The debate with yourself.
Yeah.
You saw it happen here. That's what happens in here all day long. Speaking of Pennywise, the fall is upon
Pop
us.
punk bands of the late 1990s.
Oh man, I saw Newfound Glory open for them, man. It was awesome.
I
Yellow
will
card at
say,
the pier.
I got a ride with Joe Starr this morning, and it was a full-on 90s music fest, and it
Yeah.
was glorious.
Yeah.
So Pennywise is coming out. It's the fall is upon us. Movies are upon us. We're going to take each
Finally.
day over the next few weeks. September is today, but we're going to take a day and go over different months over the next few weeks to just talk about the movies that we are most excited about. Starting in September, Dan, what are you excited to see?
Well, there's
It.
It, of course, which comes out next week, and I think everyone's already excited about. But there's another movie coming out on the 15th by Darren Aronofsky called Mother. It's an exclamation point.
Mother.
It's like his. It's like Mother. Yeah, exactly. What's that? Danzig.
Danzig.
Danzig. Yeah.
90s time.
We're going all the way back to the 90s. But it's like a Darren Aronofsky horror movie, and it's kind of interesting. I'm curious about it because he essentially said, like, I wanted to challenge myself to write a movie in a weekend, which is what he really essentially did. He wrote this movie in like a few days, and then he got, because it's Darren Aronofsky, then you get Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem and Ed Harris to star in your movie that you wrote in 3 days. But it looks very kind of weird and experimental. It might not work, but this is
That sounds cool,
I
though.
like when great directors like Darren Aronofsky take risks, and this is definitely him saying like, I've never done this before. Let's see if this works. So
That's awesome.
it may be good, it may be bad, but it's definitely one of the ones in September that I'm looking forward to.
Me too. I love, if you guys haven't seen the trailers for Mother, you should check it out. It's very much it's an easy likening to make, but it does feel very much like Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, very
and it's-
Kubricky and
yeah.
too, yeah.
And it's a psychological horror.
Looks Black Swan-y.
A little Black Swan-y, yeah. It looks-
Aronofsky doing Kubrick though, that's a good sell for me. Like
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Of course, Kubrick took like 4 years to even like write a first draft. So
Yes.
didn't
and
bang
that
that
is the
out over a
difference.
weekend.
Kubrick in a weekend.
if it is amazing after one weekend of writing it, I will be so depressed after watching it.
Maybe it's just the first draft.
Yeah, who knows? He may have gotten it revised, but he's basically like, I had this idea to do something, and I said, can I write it in a few days? And I did. So yeah, I'm sure it went through revisions and stuff, but still.
But those are the things that I'm like, I remember interviewing Taika Waititi, and I was like, oh, you know when you meet people that are so talented that you're kind of like, F you. I was like, that's how I feel about you. That's a compliment.
I think
Yeah,
James
pretty
Gunn did a
good.
similar thing with the Belko experiment, where he was like, hey, I want to write this in a very short time frame.
Yeah. And let that be a lesson to people who are like, I'm working on my book. I'm working on a movie. Take 2 days and write it. Like, just take a
You haven't
Saturday and
finished it by
Sunday.
the weekend. What are you even
What
doing
are you
with
even
your life?
doing with your weekend?
Having
You got
fun?
3 days right
Seriously
now.
though, take it as a challenge,
Write your
man.
book.
Knock that thing out in 4
Go
days.
live your life. It's gonna suck.
Your book is going to be great, and Beautiful, Handsome, Glorious Man and I will read it. Kingsman: The Golden Circle is also coming out. I'm really excited
Sure.
about that one because Matthew Vaughn returning. I feel really positive about that because I feel like he wouldn't do it if he wasn't convinced he had something new to do with it. I think he's a director that gets very bored, and he wants to kind of shake it up. So I'm curious and excited about that one. You guys?
Yeah, he created such a fun world. I'd love to go back and hang out and expand it to different stereotypes of different countries.
Yeah, let's stereotype all of the countries.
But it's stereotyping America this time.
Yes,
so it's
exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They showed some footage at Hall H at Comic-Con, and it looked cool. And I think you're going to get exactly what you wanted, where it's like, it's Kingsman, but it's going to get bigger and weirder. If that's kind of what you're hoping for, is just weirder Kingsman stuff, then that's what you're going to get, I think. It looks fun.
Yeah. I mean, the stereotypes about the U.S., though, I will say, are so regionally specific in this movie. It's like West, like,
You guys don't lasso?
I mean,
Call yourself a
not,
statesman.
not in public.
Hey.
Oh. I've seen it, you guys. It's really good. That's all I can say right now, but it's
It.
really good.
The movie.
Oh, you've seen
I
it?
thought you meant
Kingsman.
No, I've seen
Oh,
it.
I was
The movie
jealous.
It.
Can we briefly talk about The Shape of Water? That looks pretty
Yeah. Well, and have you read any of the reviews yet for it?
cool. Yeah. Good.
Very well.
Good talk to you guys.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there. Feeling for a movie. I
Nailing
think
it
it comes
in a
out this
word.
weekend, right? No,
Shape
sort
of Water, no.
Limited? No.
Shape of Water.
Guillermo
So
del
talk
Toro.
about it.
Guillermo del Toro,
While I look that
Cold
up.
War movie that blends, his politics and mysticism, kind of like Pan's Labyrinth, but set in like a weird bunker in the Cold War.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
What's your favorite Del Toro movie? Minus Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah. Pacific Rim. Sorry.
That's probably a lot of people.
Pacific Rim's awesome.
Probably a lot of people.
But he's made like a lot of
Cool.
serious
Yeah.
movies too, and
Yeah.
it's the best.
I mean, yeah, Pan's Labyrinth is obviously probably
Pans
the
is
best,
great,
but
I never need to see that movie again. Like, I saw it once and it broke me,
Yeah.
and it's like Requiem, where I'm like, okay, I don't need to rewatch this.
I've seen it like 7 times. Is that weird?
Yes.
A little bit.
It's coming out on December 8th.
Oh,
So
wow.
we have
Why
some
did it-
time.
why
it's
do we-
playing the film festival. So
Yeah.
it's a Tell You
It
Right,
might be
which
a-
is
yeah.
starting this weekend, and yeah,
Oh.
that's it's starting the festival.
Sorry for
circuit
that
this
tease.
weekend,
Whoops.
So you're
Taking
gonna
that-
start seeing
Too soon.
reviews this week,
Too soon.
probably. So
I think we'll be talking about that when we do the month of December. But those are some movies that you can look forward to. I also think it is going to absolutely kill at the box office. And man, does the box office need it right
go
now.
see Close Encounters of the Third Kind this weekend. There's no other big, huge, wide releases, and they re-released Close Encounters of the Third Kind nationwide. Probably not every theater, but it's a restoration. I saw it this week. It's amazing. It's an amazing movie. If you like Close Encounters, you should go see it. If you haven't seen Close Encounters, you should definitely go see it. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Great movie.
So yeah, go take a couple hours this Labor Day weekend if Close Encounters is playing. go see it.
Yeah, and but when you take a break from writing your book, we do have 2 fan questions. This one I want to aim at you, Spencer, specifically. How do you feel about the news of composer? This is from Nathan Shearer of Alf Clausen has been let go from The Simpsons after 27 years.
Think it's Harry Shearer's kid.
I do.
It's a bummer. The Simpsons depress me now. It's probably top 2, maybe number 1 show of all time for me. And to see it just lurch to its eventual demise by like shedding, paying people less and kicking people off and just like trying to wring a little bit more out of this family that's already given us so much. Like, I love it. It's time to let it go.
Time to move on.
It's time to move on. I'm sorry. It's especially crappy for Mr. Clausen, but like, let's just land this plane. Let's sully this series into the Hudson and just let everyone float away. It was great. We had a great run, one of the all-time best runs in television. Free people up to do other things.
Fair enough. What do you think? Any thoughts?
I mean, it's Alf Clausen. Like the music of The Simpsons. That's like. It's one of the things that made that show great. I mean, they put it in an album of Simpsons music. And, you read the stories about its cost-cutting measures and I agree with Spencer. It's like we're getting to a tipping point. Like, have there been more average seasons now of The Simpsons than there were great seasons of The Simpsons?
Do you still watch, Spencer?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there were 10 great years of The Simpsons and now 17 average ones, and it's like you get further away from the great years of that show and people remember it less and less, and it's like
now literally everyone involved at the beginning has been replaced. It's like that, what's that Greek myth, the ship of, why'd I look at you, Joe?
I don't know.
The
Joe, you know
ship of Theseus, where it's like they replace one plank on the boat. Like, when is the boat not the boat anymore? Simpsons is no longer the boat.
It's no longer
That
the
is
boat.
my favorite Spencer moment ever.
Yeah.
So
Boom.
we're
Nice,
just going
that
to
one.
preserve that one.
right.
Here's another important question from Mark. What is the difference between grapes, raisins, sultanas, and currants?
Well, I don't know what 2 of those are.
Zoltana is a dreadlock from G.I. Joe. Grapes is a fruit. Raisins is dried grapes. What was the last one?
Currants?
I think it's just different levels of shriveledness,
Yeah.
right? Like a different grape. You start with a different grape, then you sun
And you
it.
keep on sunning it until it's smaller and smaller and
you keep
smaller.
tanning
Durants
it,
were
yeah.
an older couple that lived down the street from me growing up, and their grandson Kurt would spend summers there, and he was a pyro kid, and he would get us in a lot of trouble every
His name was
summer.
Kurt Kurantz.
Yeah, Kurt Kurantz, the pyro kid.
Well, on that note, we are going to ask you to enjoy your weekend, write that book, tan that grape,
Have
and
some
let us
fun.
have some fun.
good
Enjoy
time.
yourself. Let us know what you think in the comments below about all of these things. And we promise to continue to report on non-news that will upset Jan.
Sort of something to do with movies.
And I will take this pork
Mr.
home.
Handsome Gentleman Ladyboy
Mr.
signing
Handsome
off.
Gentleman Wonderful Man signing off.
Name that port.
Name that pork.